All right, so we still have two more stacked walls to make before we can start working on our individual house designs or home designs. We've made the exterior wall of the house. This is from my template. This is what I start with when I have a new project. I have my exterior walls already kind of placed in there, and then I just move them as necessary. And I have a wall that's between the garage and the house, which is this wall. That's a different stacked wall. That's the next one that we're going to create. And then the last wall is simply the garage wall. So those are the three main stacked walls that we have to make. And once those are made, then it's pretty simple to create just about everything else in the project. I think one of the most difficult aspects is making the stacked walls. And remember that once you've made the stacked walls, you can use them over and over and over again. So let's take a look at one of the sections through that stacked wall. Interesting. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Here we go. Here's what we're looking for right here. The stacked wall. Now, I'm assuming that there's going to be a second floor wall up here. And so I'm going to make my stacked wall accordingly. But if it turns out that there isn't a second floor right over at this point, then I wouldn't have a stacked wall that has a second floor wall on it. I'd simply make another wall that deletes that second floor wall. So let's take a little closer look and see what the difference is here. Well, we still have our basement wall. We still have our brick ledge, but there's not any brick there. We still have our first floor bond, but there's not any brick there. And we still have our first floor wall, but there's not any brick there. And I'll have a second floor wall, which also doesn't have brick. I'm going to modify this guy right here. I've copied this wall over. Maybe it'd be better if I copy this wall, because this is the wall that has those other pieces at the top. So I'll do that. And so now the only thing is that there won't be any brick, but there will be some gypsum board on the inside face of the garage. This is the garage wall. So the house is on this side, so we'll have a finished wall of gypsum board. And the garage is on this side, so we'll just have our gypsum board. That would be definitely be a 5/8 Type X fire code gypsum board, because we want to make sure we don't have any kind of fire. If we have a fire in the garage, we want the transmission of that fire from the garage to the house, we retard that by putting a fire code type of gypsum board on that wall. So we're going to take this wall, this wall right here, which I don't remember what the number is, so we'll edit the type. And we just want to see what is the number of that wall. And when you click on these rows, it shows you, it highlights in blue which one it is. So we're looking at wall number 4. So I'm going to say okay to that. I'm not changing it yet. We're going to go to let's see. I'm going to go to, this is our active one. We'll go to our first floor wall. And I'm going to put in wall number 4, I think we said it was. So we'll go up to wall number 4 here. And we're going to edit that type, duplicate it, and then we'll call it 4. 2 is fine for now, okay? And then we'll just edit the type. we're going to take the brick away. So we're going to delete that. And there's not going to be any airspace, but there will be some gypsum board. So we'll call that a finish. We'll change that to gypsum board, GYP. And we'll give that gypsum board a thickness of 5/8 of an inch, which it has to be a minimum of 5/8 Type X fire code gypsum board. We'll say okay to that. Let's take a look. Now this wall looks good to me. It's going to have the gypsum board, the stud, plywood sheathing, the rigid insulation, and then the 5/8 gypsum board on the inside. So we're going to call that, we call that 4-2. Okay. And then we'll say okay to that. And then we're going to, let's go back and take a look at our stacked wall again. Or not that one, but either one of those is fine. We'll take a look at that just to see what's the, we were looking at the bond now. What number is the bond? That's 3. So we'll say okay to that. I'll say okay to that. Then we're going to edit wall 3. And we'll call that, we'll duplicate it. And we'll call it 3-2, okay? And what we want to do is take away the brick. So we'll delete that. And we want to change the airspace to gypsum board. So we'll GYP. And we'll change the thickness of that to 5/8 of an inch. And we'll change that to finish. Okay. Let's look at it to make sure we have it right. Gypsum board. This is the bond, remember, so it's the gypsum board, the rigid insulation, and the plywood sheathing. That looks good. We'll say okay to that. And then let's go back and take a look at this wall again, what it's made up of. We'll edit the type. We'll look at it. We've changed the bond. We've changed the wall, but we didn't change the brick ledge. So what number is that? That's number 7. So we'll say okay to that. And we'll go back. And we're going to change number 7 to 7-2. We'll duplicate it, and we'll just say 7-2 is fine for that. Okay, look at this. Oops, something's not right. So we're going to cancel that, go back. All right, undo. We're going to take a look at this wall again. I think I made a mistake here again. Let's come down to 7. 7 is definitely the brick ledge, so we're going to say okay to that. And we're going to say okay to that. I'm going to deactivate that because if I change it now, it'll change this to 7. So, all right, so we're going to go architecture wall. We're going to take 7, duplicate it, edit the type, duplicate it. We'll make it. Now, see, here's where my question is. Cancel this out. There's no brick on this wall. This is not the wall that we want, although we're calling it 7. Cancel. Let's hit escape. We're going to go back another time and take a look at this guy. Edit the type. Let's look at this. I'm looking at 7 is definitely the brick ledge. 7, no, I'm row 7. I want wall number 2. There was my mistake. I was looking at 7, but I really want wall number 2. Cancel. So the architecture wall number 2 is the one we want to duplicate. So we're going to edit the type, duplicate it. We'll call it 2-2, which is okay. And then we're going to edit this guy and take away the brick, delete the brick. We're going to change that to a finished material. We're going to make that our gypsum board. So we'll click a little button here and just type GYP. Make it gypsum and change the thickness of it to 5/8. Okay. And okay. Now I've copied this wall over to here. I'm going to change this to edit the type, and I'm just going to rename it this time, and I'm going to call it exterior house wall garage. So it's my exterior house wall garage. So it's the wall between the house and the garage, and say okay to that. All right. So this is a new wall, a new stacked wall, which is going to have the concrete's going to be okay. Number 2, row number 7, wall number 2 is going to be 2-2. Okay. And wall number 3 is going to be 3-2. We're making walls without brick. And then number 4 is going to be 4-2. Okay. Now let's look at it. We have to move that back by 4 inches. So this guy's got to come back because the brick ledge is on the wrong side. So let's say -4 inches for that and see what happens. Not enough. We got to come back a little bit more because this should line up together. So let's say 4 5/8. Let's see if that'll do it. Nope, it's too much. We'll make it 4 1/2. So sometimes I get lazy and I'll just type 4 4/8 and see what happens. Oh, that didn't work. Yes, it did. Look, no, it's still off by a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I'll make it, instead of 4/8, I'll make it 3/8. -3/8, not +3/8. What happened here? Let's see. I want to make that 3/8 instead of 1/2. The height is fine. We'll make that -3/8 and see what happens. So we'll go back to -4 inches again. And we'll make it -4 1/8 and see what happens. That's what's happening there. So I'm going to change this guy right here to -4 1/8, -4 1/8 of an inch. And let's see if it lines up. It still doesn't. So let's make it 4 2/8. Let's see if that does it. Nope. Let's make it -4 3/8. See what happens. Yep, now it lines up perfectly. Okay, so let's go up to this guy and do the same thing. So I'm going to copy that, Control-C, and then I'll paste it in here, Control-V, and let's see what happens. Yep, that's good. And then let's see what happens if we do the same thing up here. Control-V, and my gypsum board is lining up, so that's great. Okay, now what's going on up here is the next question. We have, let's see what happens if we Control-V on that. Yeah, we want to make sure that the, no, that's not right. Something's definitely wrong here. I don't think I made the thickness of my gypsum board here is not for this wall, which is 4-2. So we'll say okay to that for now. And let's go back and take a look at wall 4-2. And my finish is 5/8, so that's good. Okay, so, oh, that's siding. All right, so we'll go back to our stacked wall. We want to see the stacked wall between the house and the garage. And this doesn't line up because now that 4-2 is siding, and we'll leave it at siding for now because we don't know how that's going to play out. All right, so we'll edit this type here and we'll do the same thing. Control C and Control V. Let's see what happens. So the siding should line up now. It does. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for these two guys as well. Just see what happens. Control V. And yeah, that's lining up for now. So that's all right. And then we'll do the last one, which is this guy. Control V. Might not work. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we got to go back another inch. So -4, we'll go back 5. Just to line this, make sure that everything lines up. So the, yeah, it does for now. Now, see, the reason that I'm not too concerned about that right now is I don't actually know what's happening, how the roof is going to connect with the second floor wall. If there isn't any space over the garage as far as second floor house, then I'll have a roof over the garage, and I don't actually know how that's going to relate to this wall. So for now, I'm still assuming that this is an exterior wall. Part of that wall may end up being underneath the roof. So anyway, we'll leave it like that. So that's that looks good for me in terms of this wall. So now let's take a look at it a little closer. All right, that looks good. The bond area lines up, so that looks good. Bond area, something weird here. We got to change. This has got to be back to the bond again, so we didn't change that yet. So let's edit it. Take a look at this guy here. And 7 is not what we want, but we made 6-2-2, and it really should be 3-2. Let's see what happens if we make it 3-2. There we go. We got our bond back in there now. And the gypsum board lines up. So everything looks good. We'll say okay to that. We'll say okay to that. And now that wall looks good too. Because what we tried to do with this wall, which is the wall between the house and the garage, we don't want any brick on it. We want gypsum board. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to save this.